Hi, I'm Mark, and welcome to the current Outside Views report on Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine. According to his own statements, Russian President Vladimir Putin remains convinced of Moscow's victory in the war of aggression against Ukraine, although he doesn't call it like that. There is no doubt about it, is what he said at a meeting with graduates of the College of Public Administration, according to the state news agency TASS on Tuesday. The Kremlin chief himself ordered the war of aggression against Ukraine in February 22. At the time, he stated that the war aims included protecting the Russian-speaking population in Ukraine and demilitarizing the neighboring country. In addition, for its own security, Russia must prevent Ukraine from joining NATO, according to Putin. After more than 16 months of war, Russia still occupies large areas of Ukraine, but is far from achieving these war goals. After a series of defeats in the war and a recent mercenary uprising in his own country, Putin has recently been less open about whether he still believes in victory. According to Ukrainian reports, Russia has again attacked cities in the southern and eastern Ukraine. Dozens of people were injured in an explosion in the eastern Ukrainian city of Pervomaisky. At least 31 injured were registered, including several minors, as the governor of the Kharkov region, Ole Sinyerbov, told Telegram on Tuesday. In the affected residential area, there is damage to 8 apartment buildings and 5 cars. According to preliminary information, it seems to be a grenade impact. And the county seat is more than 100 kilometers from the front line in the east and the Russian border in the north. A man and a woman were killed in the southern Ukrainian city of Cherson, according to local prosecutors. The number of injured was initially unclear. Ukraine has been defending itself against Russia's invasion for more than 16 months now, as I said, and the country is currently trying to liberate its areas occupied by Russian troops with a counteroffensive. According to the defense ministry, the Russian air defense system shot down drones again over Moscow. 4 drones were destroyed by Russian air defense on Tuesday. Another was electronically disabled and crashed over the Odintsovo area, as the ministry said, according to the TASS state agency. There were no dead or injured there. The Ministry of Defense blamed Ukraine for the drone strikes and spoke of an attempted terrorist attack by the Kiev regime. And Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin also wrote in his Telegram channel that the Russian air defense had repelled another attempted attack by Ukrainian drones. But attacks have also been increasing in Russia for weeks, mostly in the immediate border region with Ukraine. After the alleged drone was shot down, flights from Vnukovo airport, southwest of central Moscow, were diverted to other airports for about 3 hours for security reasons. The Odintsovo region, over which one of the drones crashed, is near Vnukovo. According to the Russian Aviation Authority, flight operations resumed at 8 a.m. there. Moscow time, of course. One of the destroyed drones is said to have crashed on a military site in the suburb of Kubinka, west of Vnukovo, according to the state agency TASS, and they say it's from rescue services. Russian President Vladimir Putin blamed Ukraine for the attacks, and the government in Kiev had denied any direct involvement in the attacks. In the northeastern city of Sumy, the death toll rose to 3 after a Russian drone attack on Monday. According to local sources, 21 people were injured when a multi-story residential building was hit. The city ordered a day of mourning for Tuesday. According to the Ukrainian General Staff, heavy fighting near Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine in the Donetsk region continued. The Ukrainian military was able to repel several attacks under heavy fire from enemy aircraft and artillery, but the information could not be independently verified. Russia no longer sees a concession by the EU as a basis for continuing the agreement on shipping Ukrainian grain across the Black Sea. The EU's proposed establishment of a subsidiary of the Russian State Agricultural Bank to handle financial transactions would be a deliberately unworkable plan, that was said by Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova on Tuesday in Moscow. The establishment of such a bank and its connection to the international bank communications network SWIFT takes months, they say. However, the grain agreement, which is also important for the fight against hunger in the world, expires on July 17th. Among other things, Russia had demanded the lifting of sanctions against its agricultural bank. However, this would require the consent of the EU member states, which is also considered unenforceable. And therefore, establishing a subsidiary should be a way out. After invading Ukraine on February 24th last year, Russia blocked grain exports from the neighboring country for months. In the summer of 22, with the mediation of the United Nations and Turkey, an agreement was concluded between the two warring parties, as a result of which Ukrainian grain was shipped again. Most recently, it was extended for another 2 months in mid-May, combined with Moscow's demand to now also facilitate its own exports. The kilometer-long traffic jam on the Kerch Bridge between Russia and the Moscow-occupied Black Sea Peninsula of Crimea was being shortened. From the Russian mainland in the direction of Crimea, the sheet metal snake, as they call it, was still around 4 kilometers long on Tuesday morning, as the Russian Transport Authority of the occupied Crimea announced. On Monday, the traffic jam in front of the driveway to the bridge from the Russian side had grown to 13 kilometers. In the opposite direction, according to Russian reports, the line from Crimea to the mainland has since disappeared. According to the information, the traffic jam in front of the Crimean bridge had continued to build up since Saturday. The reason for the delays in transit is the start of the holiday season and the long vehicle checks due to the tense security situation. Because of the war of aggression, air traffic to the Crimea has been suspended. The peninsula, annexed by Russia in violation of international law in 2014, can therefore only be reached by train or car for most Russians. And meanwhile, Russian President Putin accused the West of a hybrid war with unprecedented illegitimate anti-Russian sanctions, and Russia would resist external pressure, as the Kremlin chief said in a speech at the virtual summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, chaired by India on Tuesday. For a long time, external forces have wanted to make Ukraine anti-Russia, he said. Ukraine has been pumped full of weapons for 8 years, and the country, it has been defending itself against the Russian war of aggression for more than 60 months, as I said several times, but with Western help. The SCO organization, which was initially founded to fight terrorism in 2001, includes not only Russia and India, but also China, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. In the basically Russia-friendly group, Russia is unlikely to feel any criticism for its war of aggression. But that is different on this channel. And if you want to know more about this topic or others, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.